Before we scaled our own agencies to 7 figures, before we generated over $30 million, and before we helped 109 agency owners scale to $100,000 per month, we were in your shoes. This was me back in 2017, literally 6 years ago. 6 years ago. I had just gone live on Facebook to announce I quit my job to become an entrepreneur and start a marketing agency. Guess how many clients I got from this Facebook Live? 0! It was cringe, it was awkward, but it was the beginning. And this was us literally in our kitchen, our office, and I thought we were going to take over the world and generate millions of dollars. And we literally worked out of our living room, our kitchen, and we even took sales calls out of my room where I slept. I would go to BNI groups every single Thursday. It's like a local networking group for business owners. And it would be at 7 a.m. on a Thursday. We would go every single Thursday. And this was me every single day. I don't know if you guys have seen this, but it's a day in the life of an entrepreneur. You're like, fuck yeah, we're going to make so much money. And then the next moment, quite literally, you're like, what am I even doing? Nothing is clicking. What's going on? Am I even meant to be doing this? Am I even meant to be an entrepreneur? Am I even meant for greatness? And then the next moment, you get a positive reply to your cold email. You're like, oh my God, we're going to be rich. But then the next moment, you get a negative reply and they tell you to fuck off. We did everything wrong. I went back, by the way, through every single picture on my iPhone. It took me like 4 hours to find this because I always tell the story of how I made this sticker that took me days to design. And I would literally use this sticker to try to get clients. And I found the picture. This was literally, I spent days, guys, on this sticker. Days. You see how basic it is? And I thought, oh my God, I'm going to put this on my computer, and I'm going to get so many clients. I'm going to go to the coffee shop. I'm going to put this on the back of my computer, and it says, do you know anyone that needs help growing their business? And I thought I was going to spark all these conversations and close all these clients. How many clients do you think I closed? Zero! I wasted time on low income generating activities. This was literally our whiteboard. We picked 7 niches at the same time. Rock climbing gyms. How many clients did I get for rock climbing gyms?
That's such a trash niche. Rock climbing gyms?
I'm sorry, I thought it was untapped. It's like no one is going to this niche. I'm about to crack the code. It's going to be a blue ocean. And then we literally walked into the rock climbing gym, and I actually got a meeting with the owner, one of the rock climbing gyms in Colorado. And he's like, Joel, you know there's like 3 rock climbing gyms in the whole city. So if someone wants to go rock climbing, they just go on Google. We don't need ads. I'm like, all right. Real estate, trash. Wedding venues, surgeons, dentists, Cairo.
Trash. Joking.
No, Cairo, you know what's crazy? There's a little asterisk next to Cairo. Maybe it was meant to be. I thought, ooh, what if I do like a pattern interrupt and go to the mountains and film some ads in like the wild? I'm like, maybe that's gonna like increase my conversion rate. Because by the way, back then there weren't coaching programs. All this information wasn't out there. We were literally having to figure it out from scratch. I was like, oh my God, if we go out, there's like a cool background, it's gonna increase our conversion rate on the ads. How many clients do you think that got me? Zero! You guys are good. You guys are good. Slowly but surely, things started to click. This is when we had 12 clients. I don't know why some have question marks next to them, but these were 12 clients. You see Hilltop Chiropractic. That was my first ever chiropractor client. Fit Tech was like this weird personal training studio. Let's see, Art Drenched. That was 2 artists. We were like, oh, we're gonna blow them up with Facebook ads. That didn't work. But we started to make a little progress. 12 clients. Now this is crazy. I want you guys to actually check this out because it really shows you where we've been. And it really shows you that at one point we were in your shoes. We were featured in this Facebook group called the Conversion Club. And the reason why we were featured is because we went from 0 to 13K a month in 8 months. This was us. We were literally just in your shoes. We had been featured on this Facebook group for going from 0 to 13K a month. And you guys see me now, and you see Sergio, and you're like, oh my God, these guys are so successful. It feels so far away. But we were quite literally in your shoes. Like, this is an actual screenshot from the masterclass. Read it. We joined 8 months ago. It was like this $30 a month community. And they were shouting us out for getting to $13,000 a month. That being said, I almost quit multiple times. This is an email that I sent. This is an email that I got after I applied for a job, and I got rejected. I actually almost quit on my agency 3 separate times, and during the worst time, I started applying for jobs everywhere. And I started to build up a lot of doubt, a lot of fear, and I wasn't sure if it was going to work out. Because let's be honest, this journey of entrepreneurship is really fucking hard. I know we always talk about like, yeah, making money, all that stuff, but like it's really hard. It really pushes you on like anything you've ever done. But this was also around the time I met Sergio on a trip to New York City. We went to that WeWork. Do you remember?
Yeah, I remember. What is it with the whiteboard? You always feel legit when you have a whiteboard, right?
You know what's funny? I said, Sergio, we should like take pictures for like to show our clients that we're like big time. So like pretend like you're writing something on the whiteboard.
This is a fake picture, and I just scribbled some shit on the board. I was like, I gotta make, can't be an empty board, right? I scribbled some stuff on the board, and we got a quick flick.
And we instantly clicked, and we came up with a massive vision. Funny story, we were in Brooklyn, and that's a building across the Brooklyn Bridge. And I was like, Sergio, I don't know how, I don't know what the plan is, but one day we're gonna own that building.
So this is actually a building that means a lot to me because I would pass that same highway, not kidding, like 4 or 5 times a week. And we were across the street at this WeWork, and you know, there's just something's just, you're drawn to it. I don't know what it is. You're just drawn to some things. Something about this freaking building that I have like a fixation with. And after we had this mastermind, Joel and I and a few other people, I think I was fired up and excited. I'm passing by and I pointed at that same exact building. And I was like, Joel, I want to buy that fucking building. And then he's like, we're going to buy that fucking building. And so it's funny, he took a screenshot of this. I didn't know you actually had this. I
don't know how I found this. Guys, the hardest part of building these slides was finding these pictures. It took me like 4 hours. But yeah, I'm really happy I found that picture because it kind of brings us back to our early days where things were hard, things weren't clicking like crazy, but we still had a massive vision for what we wanted to create. We weren't business partners at the time. You know, Sergio had his agency, I had mine, but we became great friends and we began talking every single week to share best practices, which has been kind of the foundation for Agency Lab. I would literally call Sergio every single week, and we would have a weekly catch-up where we would share everything that was working. And of course, you know what happens after you talk with Sergio. You know, as John said, Sergio ain't kidding when he says that anyone chats with him magically starts getting paid. So it was good that we started hanging out because after that, we started focusing on the right actions. This is the whiteboard in our kitchen. We would ask ourselves every single day, is this getting us closer to a sale? If yes, continue. If not, stop and ask yourself, what will? And we would start tracking all of our outreach. As you can see, it literally says 1,000 cold emails. And back then, no one was sending 1,000. So we were like, this is it. We cracked the code. But we started focusing on the right things. And eventually, we got up to $20,000 per month. That's my old business partner, Marcos. And you can actually see the 20K a month circled. And you all also can see the goal. It says by April 1st, we are going to be making $50,000 a month in revenue. So we've been exactly where you guys are at. And then I went to my very first event, just like this one. Very first event. I met one of my good friends, G.R. Rivas. And I actually learned how to do ads at that event. I met one of our old business partners as well, Mark, and he taught us how to do ads. This is a picture of an ad that I used to run for chiropractors. And after that event, we got all the way to $70,000 per month. And we were in one of our mentors. His name's Nick Robbins. He's out of the agency space, great guy. He's probably like our one mentor that really changed the game for us. I remember I hopped on a call with him, and I was like, if you show me your bank account, I'll pay you right now. And then he was like, okay, sure. And he had like $400,000 in there. I'm like, all right, I'll wire you right now, and, or pay you, whatever. But I remember telling him, just like you guys tell me, you're like, yo, Joel, I hit 100K a month. Yo, Joel, I hit 10K a month. Yo, Joel, I hit this goal. I literally reached out to him and said we hit 70K a month. And then we ended up scaling all the way to $250,000 per month within 6 months. It's the popcorn effect. Once things start to click, everything clicks. That's why you see people kind of suck, and then all of a sudden, things start to click, they start to build momentum. All of a sudden, they're at 20K. All of a sudden, they're at 70K. All of a sudden, they're at $150,000 a month. And then I did get a little shiny object syndrome. Yeah. So we started, yeah. No, that's not good.
Wait, is this the content thing that we started, the influencer thing?
Yeah.
Wow. Where do you find these pictures, bro?
Dude, I don't know. It took me a while to find these. I got a little shiny object syndrome. It's like the worst thing to do when things are working is to change things, but that's what every entrepreneur does. You finally start to make some money. You finally start to get things to click, and you're like, I have this crazy idea. Let's start a new business. So this profile is trash. But it says Joel Business Architect. I don't even know what that meant. I help Instagrammers with 10K followers launch 6-figure online businesses. Terrible offer. I should have stuck with chiropractors. I was making $250K a month. Guess how much I made with this business? 0. I made like $5,000. Okay, we closed one guy, and then no one else wanted to buy. Yeah. But then I said, you know what? Screw that. Let's go all in. These are screenshots from our bookings and our leads that we would generate from our ads for our funnels for Atlas Digital. And things really started to just take off. And over time, all these agency owners kept asking us, how are you scaling? What are you guys doing? So I actually decided to throw an event just like this one. It was our first event. And that's where Agency Lab was born. So this is the first group of agency owners ever inside of Agency Lab. And then we ended up hosting more mastermind events. At this event, by the way, is where I convinced Sergio to partner up with me. By the way, that is not a good choice for a sweater. I don't know about you guys, but like yeah.
It was fly back then. I don't know.
It was kind of weird, right? That's the event. I officially partnered up with Sergio. And you know what happens when you talk with Sergio, right? All these people started talking with Sergio. They started to make money. This was our first ever event where we gave out 100K a month awards. And then all of you guys started to make 100K a month. Jared Curry became the first teenager to ever hit 100K a month while in high school. And then there was more and more. And today, after lunch, there will be more. Plus, Cam, where are you at? Where's Cam? Yo, why aren't you at 100K a month, man? I got your award, and you did it like 35 days. You have to do it in 30. It's like, I can't just give you the award. By the way, I threw you in the slide for external pressure. So now everyone knows you haven't hit it and that you need to hit it. So shout out to Cam. Give him a round of applause. Do you like sometimes tell people you're not going to hit it and then they hit it?
I'm the type of guy that I'm like, you're not going to hit it.
And then it's like, yo, I hit it. So, all right. So the reason I took you guys way back in time is to show you what is possible. Remember, this was just 6 years ago. 6 years ago. I had nothing with my business. Nothing. 0 clients. 6 years ago. And I know you guys look at us now and you're like, holy shit, you built Atlas Digital, you built Agency Lab, you built your brands. It took 6 years. And look where we're at now. That being said, the thing we are most proud of are you guys. All the awards, all the success stories, the community. At this point, we've helped 109 agency owners hit $100,000 per month, and today, before lunch, we're going to break down the 7 frameworks behind all of them. So, you guys in? Yeah. Cool. You guys not in? What happened? You didn't thank you. I was just being an asshole. You guys like those pictures, by the way? It took me a while to find them. Okay, framework number 1. We're going to get into it. So, take out your pen, start taking notes, share some stories. Now let's actually dive deep. These are the 7 frameworks behind every single 100K per month agency owner that's gone through our program. Number 1, 7-figure identity. First pillar is you start off as an employee. Second pillar, you become the 6-figure employee. You go from 0 to 10K a month to like 10 to 30K a month. Then you evolve into the CEO. You're at 30 to 100K a month. And then last but not least, you become the chairman. This is where you can go beyond 100K a month. I'm going to break all of them down, so don't worry. First, you start off as the employee. Solo team, you're always in the business. You're doing everything. You're focused on the wrong tasks. You're building stickers, hoping to get clients. Dumb. Josh, how many clients did you get with stickers? Couple? Oh shit, that's next level. Masterclass?
Wait, before you go any further, can I touch on this real quick? So, who here is under 10K a month? Okay, that's most of the room. This is an important note that I would feel like I'm doing you guys a disservice if I didn't share. The reason you guys are at 10K a month is very simple. Very simple. You'll see a Josh or a Nathan who's doing 100K. And this stage, guys, it sucks. The 0 to 10K, it's like you're taking every sales call. You know this. You're like reaching out to every prospect. You're on back-to-backs. You're dealing with client fires. You were asking me about like, how do I manage my day? It's like there's 1,000 different things to do. This is the shittiest phase. But here's the problem. What if I told you it's only supposed to last a short period of time? I think most people don't understand the business they're actually in. We have a few people here that have sold quite a few agencies. Your agency could be the vehicle to literally change the entire trajectory of not just your life, but your family's life, because all you need is one big exit. And if I were to tell you that all you have to do is slave away for 6 short months, build a foundation, get to the point where your business is doing 30, 40, 50K a month, build a team, and now you're scaling. And just a year later, you'd have a $3 million pot of gold. A $3 million pot of gold. But all you would have to do is slave away for 12 months. Would you do it? The problem is everyone here says they would. Everyone here says they would. But no one does it. This is the shittiest phase, but this is the phase that you're building the foundation that will be the thing that you now sell. This is not an SMMA lifestyle. I'm going to sip Muay Thais on a beach and chill. No. You're building a real, tangible business. And the problem with the 10K employee perspective, everyone stays there. And they get burnt out because they think this is the game. This is my life forever. But if, again, I told you in 12 months, in 18 months, 24 months, there was a $3 million pot of gold, a $3 million pot of gold waiting for you at 18 months. Would you fight like hell to make it happen? Then this is why you're doing it, not to make 10K a month.
We could talk to how to get to six-figure employees. So I think how do you break past that, right? It's the hardest quadrant to be in, but that's where most people get stuck. They're doing everything. They're always in the business. They're focused on the wrong tasks. They're not focused on revenue-generating activities. They've got shiny object syndrome. They lack skill and experience, so they're stuck below 10K a month. Then they become a six-figure employee. It's almost like you're working at your own agency, but you're the only employee. That's what I mean by employee. You're literally the only employee at your own business, but you have zero leverage. At six figures, you're still in the business, but you're focused on the right tasks. You're focused on revenue-generating activities. You start to build out some systems. You have a way to get clients results. You have a proven offer, but you don't have scale yet. You have 1 to 3 employees. This gets you to 10 to 30K a month. And by the way, the reason I'm showing you guys these quadrants is to show you who you need to become in order to get to that level. I'm trying to literally show you the type of person that's required and the type of infrastructure that you need to build to get to each and every one of those levels. Third quadrant, the CEO. This is going to allow you to actually get to 7 figures. You need to go from being in the business and doing stuff to managing. You can still be in the day-to-day, but you're managing your sales rep. You're managing your media buyer. You're managing your account manager. You're not doing account management. You're not doing sales calls. You need to be focused on the business. Now, at this point, you're focused on managing the product side of things, marketing side of things, sales team. You want to have anywhere between, really it could be a little bit less if you're not counting VAs, but counting VAs, 6 to 15 employees. This is where you really need to start building out scalable systems, SOPs, operations, and you need to have a proven offer that's productized, where it's the same every single time. Because if every single time you have to figure out your entire business every time you get a client, you don't have scale. You're going to be your own bottleneck every time you get a client. And then this is pretty next level, but I just want to show you the end goal so you guys know what to work towards and what it looks like and who you need to become. So this is the last phase, which is the chairman. You go from managing to leading. Now you have a team of managers who manage the sales reps, who manage the marketing team, who manage the account managers, and then you're leading those managers. This is where you can really become a CEO at the highest level. In the last quadrant, you're a CEO, but you're still kind of stuck in the day-to-day doing stuff. At this level, you're really making the highest level decisions. And if you didn't show up, the business would still run with or without you.
Before you go any further, here's what I think would be useful for you guys to do is I see you guys taking notes. You're going to get these slides. So what I would do is actually this. Write down where you're at and the bottleneck for each quadrant. So if I were to ask you, where are you at right now in the quadrant?
Right now?
Yeah. Okay, you're in the employee. What's the bottleneck that you need to overcome to get to at least a 6-figure employee?
Honestly, just getting more appointments.
Okay, so just more appointments. Half of the battle, guys, is identifying what problem you're supposed to solve. Like Joel said, some of you guys are just trying to solve let me build a nice shiny website. Let me pick the best possible niche. Half of the battle in each phase is identifying what problem am I trying to optimize for right now. And so for you, if you have to go from employee to the 6-figure employee, from employee to a 6-figure employee, it's very simple. One niche, a way to get appointments. That's it. I encourage everyone else to do the same. Where are you at in the quadrant? What's the bottleneck you must solve? And then I would put a timeline on it. I think timelines make things tangible. Timelines make things tangible. Part of the reason why Nathan, you guys see here, you guys all saw the challenge, yeah? The 100K race? Yeah. The reason he won it is because there was a timeline component of it. There's also something that is taken away if he doesn't hit it. So what I would do as a good little exercise for you guys is write down where you're at, what bottleneck am I trying to solve, and by when and how am I going to solve it?
And again, I know this last quadrant might be a little bit advanced, but again, it's to really show you what's possible and where the end goal is. So this is where you start to focus on picking the right people, building out your team. You're worried about innovation, strategy, culture. You're not in the day-to-day tweaking an ad. We're actually taking a sales call. You're thinking, how do we take this to the next level with some free time to actually think through it? You're coming up with innovative ideas to beat all of your competitors. And at this point, you would have anywhere between 15 to 50 employees. You check in on the company, but there's very little day-to-day execution. So that's framework number one. You guys get it? That's the 7-figure identity. The goal to get to 100K a month, you need to be in quadrant 3. Quadrant 3 is 100K a month, and then beyond that, you get to quadrant 4. Framework 2, productized agency. This is really important, guys. You want to build an agency where you can just sell and the back end is automated. If you guys have to worry about fulfillment every single time you close, what's going to happen is you're not going to have enough leverage to scale to 100K a month. If every single time you close a client, you're like, oh shit, I got to figure this out, I got to build the ads, I got to do everything, you're never going to have enough space for the business to actually grow. Think about like a really tall building. You need to build a very strong foundation. It needs to have space for the growth to happen.
Can I touch on this? 'Cause this
You guys are trying to build like a skyscraper within like a 3-foot radius.
Let me touch on this one because this one took me a little while to get. So, some of you guys may know a little bit of my background, but I'll make it quick. So, I was not one of those guys who like took me forever to get to 10K a month. I was like, I'm gonna just sell some shit and we'll get there. We'll figure it out later, right? So actually, our sales guys. I quickly scaled actually to, I want to pay like 70 or 80K a month. And the problem is I missed this step because I was in like 12 different niches, not kidding, offering like 4 or 5 different services. I was the whatever you need, I got you guy.
And you know what's crazy? Sergio is the type of person that goes so all in. He was at 100K a month and he actually decided to kill 60% of his agency.
80%. I kept two or three clients. I literally fired everyone else, except for my OG guys, the ones I closed in person. I was like, I'm not going anywhere. I fired all my clients.
To rebuild it the right way. In a productized way where it actually allows you to scale. So,
let me finish. This is important. And so, I decided to go all in on one niche, one funnel, one way to acquire clients, one way to deliver, and we worked with 400 clients. 400 clients after. And like Josh said, they all got the same shit. Same funnel, same ad, same fulfillment. It was rinse and repeat. Rinse and repeat. And this is what a productized agency is supposed to feel like.
Imagine if every time Apple sold a product, they'd have to be like, well, we're going to go back and build your computer and then we'll be back. It's not going to work. It's not going to scale. Imagine if Nike, every time they had to sell a shoe, it's like, hey, we're going to go and make the shoelace. We're going to go and make the sole of the shoe, the outer part of the shoe, and we'll come back to you. It's going to make it very, very hard to scale. Every single agency that got to 100K a month had a productized service, which means that they turned their service into a product that they could just sell over and over again. So here's how you actually build a productized agency or an assembly line agency. Number 1, you need simplified fulfillment. So I want you guys to follow the rule of ones. One niche, so for example, chiropractors, one service, for example, TikTok ads and Go HighLevel, and one ad. You want to have the same creative on repeat. Obviously, there's going to be that one client that's like, please, can we please use my creative? Fine. Like at that point, I stopped arguing with the clients. I'm like, sure. But 90% of our clients had the exact same creative. Like sometimes even clients would be like, yo, I saw, and we had clients within at least a 10-mile radius of each other, but sometimes they would see someone else's ad and they're like, oh, they're stealing my ad. It's the same ad. So here's what you want to ask yourself. How can I make the simplest version of my product or service that people would still buy? This is a huge golden nugget. Most of you guys overcomplicate the fuck out of your fulfillment, your offer, what you're promising to give people. You add so many variables and you make it hard on yourself. Instead, what you need to ask yourself is, what is the simplest version of my service that I can offer to someone that they would still say yes to? What is the simplest version of that? If they say just ads and they're still going to buy, just offer ads. Keep it simple. And if you want to over-deliver on the back end and add other things to help them get great results, awesome. You can definitely do that. But on the front end, keep it simple. You want to have simplified acquisition. Again, rule of one. One channel and one offer. To start. Again, this is all starting. One channel, one offer. If I could only make one offer and market it one way, and I had to figure it out, what would I do? I see a lot of you guys, you're like, I'm not getting appointments, but I'm doing like Instagram DMs, I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. At the beginning, it's like, what happens is, instead of figuring out how to make it work, you add new. It's always more and better than new. More and better than new. If you have cold email, ask yourself, how can I do it more and do it better, and then I'll add something new. Is this resonating, guys? Yes? Cool. More and better and then new. Rule of one. One channel, one offer. This is what is going to create simplicity for you to scale. Have you guys heard the saying simple scales? Yes. I'm trying to dumb it down for you guys and make it as simple as possible. Automated fulfillment. How can I turn the entire fulfillment into a machine where I don't have to lift a finger every time I get a new client? For example, our entire fulfillment process was broken down into these 5 steps. Onboarding, campaign creation. So someone was in charge of onboarding, someone was in charge of creating the campaign, someone was in charge of reviewing the campaign, someone was in charge of launching the campaign. We literally had someone in charge of just double checking, making sure campaign is ready to go. And then campaign optimization. This would be someone that's like tweaking the ads. But I literally had one employee who's in charge of onboarding the client. I had another VA who would be in charge of creating the campaign. Another VA who would be in charge of reviewing it and actually saying, okay, it's time to go and launch this. So we turned it into an assembly line. You want to have checklists and SOPs. So here's what you need to ask yourself. What if I could record a how-to video along with a checklist for every single task in my agency so I could delegate it to someone else? Because again, if you're having to do everything yourself, you're not going to have the bandwidth to scale. Part of the reason all of these guys scale to 100K a month is because they have space and bandwidth to scale. So for checklist SOPs, what you want to do is you want to start documenting and recording how-to videos for all of the tasks that you can immediately delegate. What can you delegate right now? And it could be really simple stuff like someone forwarding the positive replies or someone sending you the data. Delegate everything. You want to create as much space for yourself. Another way to ask this is, if I couldn't show up to work tomorrow and it still needed to get done, how could I get someone else to do it? First, record a video on how to do it. I would turn it into a checklist SOP, and then I would delegate it to someone else. So first, you want to automate tasks that you can delegate today, right now. Next, you want to automate onboarding. Then campaign creation. Then you want to move on to frequently asked questions by the team, and then any other remaining tasks that you do that can be delegated. And then you'll move into actual department tasks. And I know this is a little complex, maybe boring, but you guys want to scale to 7 figures? It's boring. It's systems. It's like, okay, the problem is every time we get a client, someone needs to onboard them, and right now I'm doing all the onboarding, so I don't have time to take more sales calls, so then we can't scale to 7 figures. You guys want to get to 100K a month, you need to have all this shit dialed in. Data tracking and KPIs, and then we measure everything. So for example, this is our Slack for all of our sales calls, even to the point of which channel they're coming from. We track referrals, organic, DMs, everything. So you want to start tracking everything, including your finances. So we track last 30 days revenue, last 30 days expenses, last 30 days net profit. Josh, it's more than yours. Month to date revenue, just kidding. I'm just messing, because earlier you made that joke about that you make more than everyone in profit, but I'm just teasing. I got a little like, I'm competitive, you know, so I had to say something.
I make more money.
Anyways, we track everything. You want to start with acquisition data, sales and marketing. You want to move on to marketing data. You want to move on to, after that, client data, and then department-specific data. This is what's going to allow you guys to scale to 100K a month. If you know your numbers, you know what you're actually doing, you know how much you're spending on ads, you know how much it costs you to acquire a client, you know how much money you're actually bringing in, it's going to be a lot easier to scale. And again, I know this is a little more advanced, but this is exactly what you guys need to start thinking about to get to that next level. Good? How you guys feeling? Good? All right.
Wait, can I just say, because I can tell everyone's a little bit overwhelmed. You guys are like, damn, it's a lot.
Now I'm trying to give you guys everything. My goal was to overwhelm you guys, so.
Here's the thing though. So, you're not supposed to have all of that from day one. You won't have all of it from day one. Shit, we didn't have half of that stuff till I was doing like $250 a month. But the key is to get started. That's the key. That's what we're trying to push for you guys. I wish I was tracking numbers early on in the agency days. I realized, not kidding guys, like maybe a year in to spending money on ads, like 20, 30, 40, 50K a month, my acquisition costs like $400 or $500. If I would have known that, oh my God, Mark Zuckerberg would have loved me because I'm doubling spend. But it took me forever to catch that because I didn't track the stats. And so as overwhelming and daunting as it could feel, what Joel's sharing with you guys is what you will get to. The key is to start your marketing data. How many appointments are you getting? What's the cost? What's the cost per lead? Your sales data. How many intros are you getting? How many demos? What's your close rate? What's your overall acquisition cost? These are the foundational stats that you guys need. Don't overcomplicate it. You had a question?
Yeah, if you're not really analytical in terms of numbers and tracking or anything, would you...
Do I look analytical to you, dog? I suck. Oh, I had a VA track list. If I did this on my own, I would like kill myself. This is like I wouldn't do it. I just hired a VA and I said, here's what you're supposed to do. You know, give them what to do, and you know you do it once or twice, teach them how to do it, but they would do the rest of it. But this is what you need like today. Everyone here, there's like 200 people here. Zero reason why you're not tracking numbers. Remember that exit I talked about earlier? Being able to sell for $3 million? Guess what you're going to need to be able to sell for millions of dollars? They're going to ask about your stats. They're going to ask about your numbers. Right, Alex? He's like, yeah. So just get started. Just get started. I know it can feel overwhelming, but.
I mean, how are you guys feeling? Good? I was like, I'm going to give you guys everything, so it's going to be, everyone's like, can you teach me how to get 7 figures in like 30 minutes? I'm like, no, I can't. I'll do my best. So framework number 3, scalable acquisition. Every single one of these people that scaled to 100K a month, they had a way to get clients at scale. It wasn't like, ooh, I have one appointment today. It was they had a sales machine in place. So you need to start asking yourself, how can I close one client per day? You need to start asking yourself, I need about 25 appointments per week, 100 per month. So how do I get 100 appointments per month? If you guys start to ask yourselves, how do I get 100 appointments per month? You're going to be able to reverse engineer the solution to that problem. But this is how those guys that hit 100K a month were thinking. They weren't thinking, how do I get an appointment today? They were thinking, how do I get 100 appointments this month? So, types of scalable acquisition: ads, power partners. If you're going to do free prospecting, I have not seen that many agency owners scale to 100K a month with free prospecting. Is it possible? Yes. So if you're going to do outreach and say, Joel, I'm going to be the first agency to scale to 100K a month just with cold email, you're going to have to do it either so much better or do way more than everyone else. Most of the guys that actually scaled to 100K a month used ads. 90% of all of the 109 agencies that scaled to 100K a month used advertising. Because again, it allows you to solve the problem of how do I get 100 appointments this month? It's very hard to do that consistently with cold email. It's very hard to do that consistently with Instagram DMs. I'm not saying it doesn't work, but it's just hard to scale it. And to get to 100K a month, you need to scale. So again, 90% of agencies who hit 100K a month used ads to scale their acquisition. I asked Josh for his permission to use this ad, but it's in the ads library. I mean, it's free for
Who here is already running ads? Show of hands. Okay, who here is spending more than $1,000 a month on ads? Who here is spending more than $10,000 a month on ads?
We're spending like 10K.
Okay, who here, if I told you that I'd give you a loan for $10,000, you'd spend it all on ads, and be honest? Like 3.
You would, for sure.
I don't understand where this fear, you definitely would, because there's this fear with spending money on ads. It could be daunting, don't get me wrong. But guys, the fact that 90% of the people that we've helped have all, like without fail, spent an insane amount of money on ads. All Nathan did really was this: get a better offer, fill more ads, and spend more. That's why he blew up. So the question you have to ask yourself is, why am I not spending more on ads, especially considering half of you guys, if not more, have a ridiculously low acquisition cost? What if I were to tell you that acquisition cost won't last? Remember that same $400 CPA I had before, where I was like, man, I wish I found out a year later. Towards the end of my agency, it was more like $1,500, $2K to acquire the exact same customer. And some of you guys are quite literally sitting on gold today, and you're letting it pass because you refuse to spend money on ads. I'm calling my mom. I'm pulling up to grandma. Grandma, can I get that Christmas money early?
$50.
She needs $50. That's an appointment. That's an appointment. I'm finding a way to get the money to spend it on ads, because that's the key here. There's not a coincidence 90% of people have already, have hit 100K a month, are heavily invested in ads.
So I think like the 3 key pillars to making good ads, I'd say the targeting literally is easy. Just go to one of Isaac's calls, he'll tell you how to do the targeting. The hard part is, how do you come up with a great offer? Number 1, and that's the most important. That's the 80-20, great offer. Then how do you bust out really good creatives? I see a lot of you guys running image ads. Video ads are performing at a much higher level, especially if you can create great video ads. And then the copy obviously matters, but you can even chat GPT it. Like, the copy is easy once you have a great offer and a great creative. So, for example, I wanted to shout out Nathan because he scaled 100% with ads, and you went from like, I don't know, 40, 50K a month to 130K a month. And the reason why he was able to do this is because he had scalable acquisition. He had a proven way to scale his appointments, not just get appointments, scale the appointments. To say, oops, I want more. It's too little. Oops, I want more. I just need to spend more. So the funnel is very simple. And literally, Isaac made all these funnels. We've given them away for years. Like, these are the same funnels that I gave you guys for free on YouTube a long time ago. He's shown them. I've shown them. It's very simple. You just restate the offer at the top. You have an easy call to action. You have 5 bullets. You have a 5-minute VSL for extra qualification if you want, or you don't. Like, this is literally the funnel. And Isaac is our CMO, and he essentially helps all of you guys with ads. They're ugly. Ugly funnels, doesn't really matter. It's more just restate the offer, easy call to action, 5 bullets breaking down what they're gonna get. And if you want them to be extra qualified, you throw in a 5-minute video to break it down even further. So that's framework number 3, scalable acquisition. What? Oh, here you go. Yeah.
Okay. You guys want to move on to the fun stuff? Because I know it's what you need.
Bro, you're going to do me like that?
No, I'm not. Sorry. No, the reality is this is actually the board. It sounds fun, but that's the foundation of what you actually need. That's just the truth. And it doesn't sound sexy, but it's the most important thing here. So, framework number 4. Everyone here knows what LTV is, right? You got a freaking marketing bunch. If you guys don't know LTV, it's ridiculous. I want to talk about changing up your pricing models to allow for more scale. But first, question for you guys. Who the hell came up with the agency pricing model? Like, why don't we all charge $1,500?
It's a great, I have no idea, honestly.
It's like everyone just says, oh, well, we're just going to charge $1,500.
It's like someone else told me to charge $1,500 a month, so then I charge $1,500 a month.
Same, I just copied someone else. I was like, what are you charging? $1,500. I'm charging $1,500 too. It's like, everyone just came up with this arbitrary, like, we're going to charge $1,500, which is ridiculous, right? But I want to share with you guys a very simple exercise. But first, I want to ask you guys a question. Hold up. I wanted to switch it up because, okay. I'm giving away a Rolex. I'm completely not giving away a Rolex. But I'll say this. This is a $20,000 watch, okay? This is to prove a concept on pricing. If I were to tell everyone here that I'll give you this watch, it'll cost you $3K, and you can immediately turn around and make a $17,000 profit, who here, despite half of you guys being broke, how many of you, realistically speaking, would find a way to make $3,000? You're calling your mom, your cousin, your sister, your grandmother, you're getting Christmas money early again, right? We would all find a way to make $3,000 for a $17,000 profit. Exactly, we're giving away a watch. But I wanted to share this exercise because it's never a pricing problem. It's never a price objection, I promise you. It's always a matter of more value. And so with that in mind, I mentioned earlier, everyone has this arbitrary, $1,500.
You mean to talk about this one? These were my slides, or do you want these?
Yeah, you could. Sure.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Or do you want them?
No, you do it.
All right. I mean, I made those slides, so figured I'd go for it. I think a really good way to prove this is if you sell 100 clients at 1K, how much money is that? 100K. You make 100 grand. Next slide. But if you sell 10 clients at 10K, how much is that? 400K. But you have 1,000% more efficiency. 1,000% more efficiency. And if you just increase the price by 5K, so you go from 10K to 15K, how much do you make if you sell 10 people? $150,000. So just with that one tweak, you just created 50% more output. One tweak, 50% more output. Easier said than done, but this is the key. And everyone that got to 100K a month figured out how to do this. They figured out how to charge more up front so they have more efficiency and more output. More efficiency and more output. Same input though.
It takes the same amount of effort. Everyone here who has sold someone for more than the $1,500 arbitrary price, everyone here can attest to the fact that it takes as much energy, still a 30, 45-minute phone call, wouldn't we agree? It takes the same effort to close someone for $5,000, $10,000 as it does for close someone for $1,000. But Sergio, how do I do it? Great question, Pasha. Don't worry, I got you. You got to position your offer as a 12-week accelerator or a program. This is actually what blew my agency up. It was a 12-week program. I was charging anywhere from $5,000 on the high end, like $12,000 for the exact same thing that everyone else was charging $1,500 a month for. This allowed me to collect 3 months of payments up front. And guess what happens when someone pays you up front? What do you think? They're a way better client. That guy's invested, they've already committed, they're like, all right, I guess I gotta do this 3 months sort of thing. And all you guys know, the drop-off happens when? That first 1 to 2 months, right? If someone's with me for 3, 4, 5, 6 months, they tend to stay. And so this is our way of buying retention. And so what you guys should do is take your current month-to-month rate, multiply it by 3, shit, if you want, and get crazy, you can even add an extra $1,000 to it. It doesn't matter. You're all undercharging anyway, relative to the amount of money you're making your clients. And then you create a 12-week accelerator, a 12-week program. This also allows you to have a stronger offer. Who here can come up with a stronger offer in 90 days as opposed to a 30-day thing? Everyone here. And so do you see the power of this? Joel's 100% right. The fact that every single agency that's hit multiple 7 figures cracked LTV means that we have an opportunity to buy the retention up front.
But it's also higher cash collected up front, which gives you,
You can spend more.
it gives you more energy to play with, to reinvest back into ads, and it creates that flywheel. So one of the things maybe you guys are picking up is that all of this comes down to having more scale, more leverage. All of these things are working together to make that easier. It's not just how do I send a few cold emails and boom, I have 100K a month. It's how do I charge more upfront so that I have more money to invest into ads so that I can scale my appointments, and then also have more money to hire people to take care of all of the fulfillment so that I can take a lot of sales calls and not have to worry so much about fulfillment. And then now I'm able to close one client a day. So it's about scale.
Okay, next framework. Sales. This is what I need you guys to understand. The business you're actually in. Anyone here, you guys have heard me say this, so please don't let me down here. Who here knows what business you're actually in? Jared gets it. That's why that's why he gets paid the big bucks in his suit. Any business in which you can automate fulfillment is actually just a sales company. What Joel mentioned earlier is the key. You automate the fulfillment. And if you automate the fulfillment, now all you're doing is running a sales team. And you're rinsing and repeating, selling the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over, literally over and over and over and over again. This is the key. Now here's the problem though. Here's the problem. Every one of you guys are what's called founder-led closers, meaning you don't sell like you're supposed to be a closer. This is a huge issue. I actually never talked about this. The problem is Pasha gets on a sales call with a dentist and he sells them like the founder. And so he doesn't create a repeatable, duplicatable process. And then what happens is he brings on a closer and it flops. Why? Because he's been selling his prospects as if he is the founder. I can get on a call as a CEO and say whatever to the prospects. Wouldn't you guys agree? And I have a higher likelihood of closing this guy because I could vamoose, like Josh said earlier, vamoose the situation. I could craft, get a little creative with the offer, get a little creative with the pricing, maybe offer a one-time discount, right? The problem is you guys are not creating a repeatable, duplicatable process that can get anyone to close. And so this is my belief. It's a cute little picture of my cousin. Man, we got a family of ugly people. I want to have the does it pass the monkey test.
I don't know why you got so close to me there, Sergio.
Sorry.
What's about to happen?
The point is, does it pass the monkey test? Can you give this script, this framework to a monkey, a freaking monkey with his tongue out, and be able to say the words that are on screen and close his client? That's the key. You need to machine your sales process. So much like Joel said earlier, I'm going to be the boring guy too. You need to automate and machine your sales process. It sounds boring. I know. We all want to like up and down. And what about this thing? And what about this line? No. You have to machine your sales process. So how do you do it? This means that after every single sales day, you need to listen to your own calls. After every single sales day, every single one, I would, at the end of the day, last 2 hours of my day, I'd listen to every single one of my sales calls. And I would review them. I would take down notes. And I was very meticulous, very, very detailed. I'd figure out, I fucked up here because I didn't pause. Or shit, this guy was giving me this little bit of gold and I cut him off like an idiot. And so I'd write down notes. I'd stick it on my laptop. And guess what? The next day I had a Zoom call. Guess what I worked on? That one thing. Listen to your own calls, review them, tweak them, and treat it like a science. Because it is a science. But Sergio, how do I get good at sales? Amazing question. I actually love this picture. This is one of my favorite pictures of all time. Because look, this is Kobe Bryant. Everyone knows Kobe Bryant, right? You're a weirdo if you don't know Kobe Bryant. He's considered to be one of the greatest basketball players of all time. And if you see this empty gym, there's nobody there. But he was that guy waking up at 5 a.m., working out for 2 hours, going to take a nap, coming back before the game, working out for 2 hours, coming back after the game after dropping 40 points and working out for 2 hours. The game is won when no one's watching. The game is won when no one's watching. This is key. This is the key. It's not freaking, I'm going to write down this. No. It's when no one is watching. What are you doing? This is how you win. It requires time. It requires energy. And I know some of you guys are like, well, I'm not good at sales. You're wrong. It's not that you're not good at sales. You're just lazy. Come and talk to me after you've taken 1,000 sales calls and tell me you're not good at sales. That's the fucking key. Put in the work. Put in 1,000 hours, and then you come and tell me that you won't get good at sales.
Yo, that was fire. Can we give it up for Sergio? That was great. I got 2 more frameworks for you guys, and then we got lunch. So far, talked about scalable acquisition, getting really good at sales, becoming a 7-figure leader, and a bunch of other ones that I'm blanking out on. But you guys can go back and watch the recording. That being said, 2 more frameworks. Every single one that got to 100K a month had a great offer. Very few agencies that scale past 100K a month, or at least do it very fast, do it with a crappy offer. So, let me break down some of our proven offers for my agency. We did 30-day trial. We did free 20 patient leads trial. We would literally send chiropractors 20 leads before there were appointments because we didn't have Go HighLevel. And then you could sign up with us if you want. We did pay when you get your first patient. We would literally sign chiropractors and say, hey, you don't have to pay us a single dollar until you actually get one of our leads to become a patient, which felt like a fair win-win. You don't have to pay us until you get paid. 50 patient opportunities guaranteed. This is the offer that really put us on the map. Then we doubled it to 100 patient opportunities guaranteed, and we just doubled the amount of time required to actually help them generate those opportunities. Then we did 20 patients in the door in 60 days, patients that prepay and show up, AI never follow up again system, only pay per patient that shows up, or I guess that's already on there, pay per show, and then TikTok ads for Kairos.
Can I touch on this for a second? So these are just, guys, I had like, not even kidding, 30 different offers that I ran at the agency. Guys, I dropped into the group for free. But I wanted to talk about this because I had way too many to fit in here. But instead of just sharing with you guys my offers, I wanted to share with you guys how I came up with my offers. And I had a quick little strategy I wanted to give away. So I don't pretend to be the guy that knows it all. In fact, I'm kind of dumb. That's what my mom says. Joking. But I also understand intimately that the market is never wrong. And so in the exact same way you test out creatives, maybe some new ads, maybe a new funnel, whatever, I used to have 3 to 4 different offers that I would run for a couple $100 each. And I would let the market tell me what offer I should run with. I would assess the cost per lead, the cost per call. At the end, I would get on the calls, my sales team would get on the calls, and find out who was the most excited for what offer, and that's the one we doubled down on. I don't see anyone doing that, and no one talks about that strategy, but actually testing your offers in the front. 4 or 5 different offers at once that we would run. So these are just some of the ones that we. A lot
of people are like, Joel, for Agency Lab, for example, you launch all these offers. Most of it is just testing. We're just testing to see what the market wants, what they resonate with, what they don't. And I tell Sergio, most of them aren't going to just magically blow up and be like, holy crap, that was the offer that the market wanted. But then sometimes you hit gold.
So if you guys see Joel posting different offers, it's not that he's trying to obviously change my promise, guys. It's that we're testing different offers. But this is.
I have leverage now with obviously my brand that I could test at scale. But before we would literally just run ads. And even for some of our other companies, what do? We literally run different offers at the same time to test which one the market wants the most. Oh, you want me to keep going? Okay, so these are some of Sergio's offers for his agency. And from what I've seen, these are some of the hottest offers right now. Paper deal, paper close, so on and so forth. TikTok ads, pay as you profit, get started for $0 down, 30-day test drive. These are some of the hottest offers that I'm seeing right now. So you want to have a really good offer. And then last but not least, the last framework, innovation. You want to ask yourself these questions. How can I beat the best agency in my niche? And I agree with Josh, by the way. You're not trying to be Steve Jobs. Absolutely not. But how can you gain a competitive edge on the best agency in your niche to beat them? I tell all of you guys, I'll tell you right now, you should be asking yourself, how can I beat Joel and Sergio? If I had to be better at the agency game than Joel and Sergio, what would I do? A lot of people overcomplicate innovation. It just comes down to asking the right questions to get the right answers. Ask yourself, what is the biggest problem in my niche that I can try to solve? What is the biggest problem in my niche that I can try to solve, that if I solve this problem, I'm going to beat everyone? Ask yourself, how can I be the first agency to do blank? And you'll obviously have to fill that in. For example, with my agency, Atlas Digital, is get patients that prepaid before their appointment. And we were the first agency to do that. How can we be the first agency to offer the pay-per-show program? So here's some of the Atlas Digital innovations that we came up with. We were the first to get prepaying patients. We were also the first agency that was guaranteeing results on ads. No one was doing that back then. We were also the first agency to really crack the code on ads for chiropractors, to actually get them as clients B2B. So these innovations don't have to be crazy. You don't have to be Steve Jobs. It's just like, how do you get a competitive edge on everyone? Maybe that's an even better term for it than innovation. It's like competitive edge. Maybe that's an even better way to see it. Like framework number 7 can really just be competitive edge. How can you gain a competitive edge on everyone else? We were the first agency to run a demo presentation. I remember looking at the perfect webinar from Russell Brunson, and I asked myself, what if I could take this entire process and actually do it live, one-on-one on a sales call with these chiropractors? We were the first agency to do that. So it's like asking yourself, how can I get these competitive advantages? And it doesn't have to be something crazy. You don't have to come up with this new revolutionary technology that's going to change the game. It could just be like, we're going to be the first agency to do blank. And it could be like offer VAs on the front end to get them as clients and then upsell them on ads. It doesn't have to be something wild.
Wait, I want to touch on this too. So, I don't know why I get this question a lot of like, well, how do I innovate in the agency? And Josh is right. For the most part, you guys aren't really in the innovation.
Wait. What we used to do is we would ask ourselves these questions and just whiteboard it out. Like, you just have to take the time. Because the problem is that you're also so focused on like day-to-day, cold email this, Instagram DM that, Facebook ad this. You don't have any time to ask these questions, but here's the thing. Asking these questions will create so much leverage and make everything else easier. If you crack the code on a new offer that no one else is doing that your market would really want, everything else is going to become easier. If you can find a way to get your clients results in a unique way that no one else can, everything else is going to become way easier. So, yes.
What I was going to say is, I get this question a lot of like, well, how do I innovate? What do I do here? What is it? You guys want to hear who really has your answer?
Your clients.
Your fucking clients. They have your answer. You need to fall in love with, yes, you should be absolutely aware of what the competition is doing. Oh, trust me, I know. But if I study the competition, what happens is I'm always going to be second best at best. And I'm trying to be the fucking best. And so each and every one of you here should fall in love with your client's problems. Instead of that weird gut-wrenching feeling when a client calls you and they're going to complain, we all know that feeling, yeah? Instead of it being like a nervousness, it should be an excitement because they're about to tell you what potentially could be your newest innovation. Your client's problems are your newest innovation. And if you do that little bit of a mindset shift, that little bit of a flip, like, oh wait, what if this was actually an opportunity instead of an issue? The way you go about your day-to-day completely fundamentally changes. Your clients already have the answers for you. This is how you innovate. All of my innovations in the agency came after a big client complaint. Same with Agency Lab. You guys will say something not...
like we used to not have a lot of sales training in Agency Lab, and we got feedback like there's not a lot of sales training. So now it's like way too much sales training, and then you guys are like, oh, you guys don't care about client results. So then I'm like, all right, I'm going to add more client results stuff. So it's like we're just listening to what you guys want to make the product better. But you can also listen to your clients. You can also listen to prospects. You can also listen to people that didn't work with you guys. Like one of the things that we used to do is if someone didn't move forward, we'd call them and say, hey, just to get some feedback, why didn't you move forward? And a lot of times they'll tell you exactly what you need to innovate on.
Or if a client left, I'll give you guys an example. So in the roofing agency, a lot of our clients would leave because they just were horrible at financial literacy. They would make $100,000 month one and blow it the next month, which is ridiculous. And so
It's because they were roofers.
because they're roofers, bro. I had shout out to my roofers. I had a whole bunch of clients leave, and I was like, okay, this is gonna be ridiculous. And on the offboarding form, they all kept saying the same thing. Oh, program's good. I lost my money. Program's good. Still waiting to get paid. Program's good. Blah, blah. I was like, okay, I gotta fix this problem. And so what I did is I created an entire course. I reached out to one of my clients who was amazing. He was like a banker who was a roofer. Like he was amazing with money. And I was like, hey, can I pay you to create a course teaching us everything that you know about financial literacy in the home services space? And guess what I did? I started offering that to our clients on the front end, coupled with our lead gen program. And so I turned the problem into the solution. This is how you innovate. And everyone here has that exact same opportunity. Because we all deal with client complaints. We're in the fucking lead gen business. This shit is hard. It's hard. We're a portion of the client's success. Like they get them leads, but they suck at sales. Cool, solve that problem. Oh, they suck at sales, now they're closing too much and need help with operations. Cool, solve that problem. Your clients is how you win. One of the core values that we had a while back forever was clients win, we win. Clients win, we win. This mentality just embeds this DNA of innovation into you.
And I think to wrap it up, some hot innovations that I'm seeing right now, offering virtual assistants on the front end, as opposed to leading with ads, immediately separates you, and it's very easy to do. Most businesses in the world don't have VAs. So it's like, hey, we're gonna offer you VAs. Again, front-end innovation, and then you upsell them on ads. That works very well. We've actually ran some ads for that offer and gotten insanely low cost per appointment. Recruiting on the front end, for example, solar companies need a lot of help with recruiting. Roofing companies need a lot of help with recruiting. So you could say, hey, we're gonna fill up your team for you, and then we'll generate leads once they know, like, and trust you. So switching the front end offer, I think conversational AI, I've done a lot of work with Sean Clark over the last like 2 or 3 months, and they're really ramping up. So I think there's gonna be a lot of opportunity there, especially again as a front end offer to get your foot in the door. I'm also working with them to design a pay-per-show system where the conversational AI talks with the lead, and if the lead says, oh, the appointment went great, it automatically bills the client for that appointment that showed up. So I think that could be really interesting, where you just literally send leads to go high level, they talk to the AI talks to the lead, books them in, and then once they actually show up, reaches back out, confirms, hey, how was your appointment? Good, boom, it just gets billed right to the client. I think that will have a lot of opportunity. And then I think also like a lot of people want content. So again, leading with a hybrid of content and ads. And these are just some offers that I've seen that are working very well in terms of innovations. You guys don't have to do these. The key is to really figure out how you can gain that competitive advantage. So I think that's it. 7 frameworks. Every single agency that got to 100K a month used, I'd say, multiple of those frameworks. Obviously, not every single agency that hit 100K a month ran ads, for example, or had one service. Some of them had 2 services. Some of them had 2 niches. But the grand majority of all the agencies we've taken to 100K a month followed these 7 frameworks.